morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to the University of the West Indies International School for Development Justice Information Webinar. I am Pamela Eversley. I am your Customer Experience and Business Development Lead here at the ISDJ, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see so many of you joining us from across the globe. If you can place in the chat where you're joining us from, we'd like to welcome you specifically. We have persons tuning in from the Caribbean, from Africa, from Asia, from Europe, or the Americas. If you're from any of those regions, we're saying welcome and you belong here with us today. So before we dive in, let me introduce our team to you. Part of our team who's here with us this morning. I'll be walking our first person that I'll introduce you to is our Chief Academic Affairs Officer, Ms. Sonia Mahan. She's on camera with us. And we also have joining us our CIO, Dwayne Kildare. You'll hear his voice in a little while. Sonia is responsible for all things curriculum and learning here at the ISDJ, and our Dwayne is information. He will be the person who will process any challenges you will have on the platform, your help desk. So really great people to know. So Dwayne and I will also monitor our chat. If you have any questions while we're having, you can always raise your hand to ask, or you can put it in the chat or the Q&A that we can answer you live, or if there's something we need to speak to you privately about, we'll do so as well. So now let's talk about why we're all here today. We are living in a pivotal moment. Organizations everywhere from the United Nations to multilateral corporations to local governments have made bold commitments to sustainability, climate action, and social justice. But here's the reality. Research from the World Economic Forum shows that 94% of organizations say that they lack the people with the right skills to actually deliver on these commitments. The funding is there, the political will is there, but what's missing? People, the people capital with the right credentials and expertise. And that gap, this is your opportunity. That's where you stand at this moment. The ISDJ was created specifically to close this gap. We are the world's first business school dedicated exclusively to the Sustainable Development Goals. Backed by the United Nations, we're supported by a 11 million investment from the Inter-American Development Bank. And we are built on the University of the West Indies, 75 years of Caribbean and global academic excellence. So we're UN endorsed. We've been in the region for 75 years, and we are globally recognized. Recently, the Times ranking ranked the UWI as in the top 3% of universities globally. So your school that you're joining is not just any school, it's a movement. And today you are considering to become a part of this movement. So I would have noted, why did you choose the ISDJ? Why did you choose us? Maybe some of you can put in the chat why you chose us. It would be really cool to see. So what we are hoping that you will see today is that becoming a part of our ISDJ community, we call ourselves change makers. Our presentation today will guide you through this process. Sonia will take you through our curriculum. My screen got lost there. We'll guide you through our curriculum, the courses that you can take. We'll look at course fees, and then we're going to have a special item for you at the end. So stay with us at the end, and you'll see the special tool that we'll share with you that would help you to see how we can go along the road together. So I'm going to turn you over now to Sonia. She will take you through the curriculum. Apologies. She'll take you through the curriculum, the programming, and all things application ready so that we can have a conversation. So please share your questions, your concerns with us in the chat, in the Q&A, and let's get started. And yeah,
Thank you so much, Pam, and thank you for taking some time out in your day, whether it's you're in the morning, early in the morning, in the afternoon, or the evening, for joining us. And we're just introducing the some of our programming and the school itself. So why choose the ISDJ? Why trust? Why partner with us? Why take us along? Why advance your career or reinforce your academic qualifications and so on with us? Because we are proven. Even though the school itself is new, the infrastructure on which we are built is not. We are a solution to several of the world's pressing problems, and those are defined by the SDGs, it's written by the United Nations. We have been developed as the world's first global business school dedicated exclusively to the SDGs. So across our programming, well, not every program you would imagine will address all of the SDGs. The suite of programming that we do offer does address the 17 SDGs. We are built for you to be able to pursue the programming, to get your qualifications, to be as flexible as possible. We fit your life rather than the other way around. Our content is built on a platform that allows you to access that content asynchronously online. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, because you're setting your own schedule. Our delivery, as I said, is asynchronous online, which means that you don't have to rush from commitments to sit at a pre-scheduled on a pre-scheduled timetable. You have the content and you can determine when you're going to engage meaningfully with that content. So if you are 12 hours behind us here in the region, right now it is about 10 past 10 in the morning. You don't have to try to adapt your day or sort out your day to come into a class scheduled at 10 to 12 in the day or 6 to 8 p.m. in the evening here in the Eastern Caribbean. You have access to the content and you are building your own schedule. What that does mean, though, is that you do have to be motivated. You do have to ensure that you schedule. It can't be an add on, it has to be an add in. You build your schedule and you're able to interrogate and interact and engage with that material in our 8-week block cycle. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And we are globally relevant, as you would have heard Pam said, endorsed by the United Nations and funded. They put their money where their mouths were and funded by a loan from the Inter-American Development Bank because they saw the need for this solution in the space. While our heart is in the region, we are globally relevant. So we are rooted in the Caribbean. And if you think of a bamboo, deep roots, and as it matures and grows, big shade. The world is what we are shading. So, rooted in the Caribbean, but globally relevant and able to allow you to develop the solutions and make the changes in your particular locations, no matter where you are. And as I said, while the school is about well, the school is new, the university is not, and we are part of the University of the West Indies. So we have the advantage and can leverage all of the knowledge that we have built, the reputation that we have built over the last 75 plus years. And we have graduates not only in the Caribbean, but all over the world. There is not a locale in the globe that you will not see somebody who has taken some of our programming. 50,000 plus graduates around the world and counting. And as you would have heard, the Times Higher Education ranking puts us in the top 3% of universities, and we have been holding force in that top 5% for the last several years. Another advantage, we are attached to the UWI Global Campus, which has over 20 years of experience in online learning, developing products, not only products that lead to degree-bearing awards, but products that allow you to pursue short courses to reinforce and enhance your competency and skill set as well. So over 20 years of learning excellence in a virtual environment, and that's what we're leveraging as the ISDJ. We have also developed global partnerships. So it is not only the expertise that you are seeing from the region, but we have tapped these subject matter experts from around the globe to build you relevant up-to-date and future-ready programming across the pro options that we are going to be delivering. And as you would have heard before, we said it a couple of times, UN backed, UN endorsed, and IDB backed as well. So you're coming in not only to a promised school, but we already have the leverage of the infrastructure to say that we are proven as well. So let's take a look at what we offer here at the school. Our graduate programming, there are three pathways to advance your career, and we offer for every program suite, for every discipline, three options. The postgraduate certificate, which is your specialized credential, can be completed in as little as 5 months. So if you come into our programming, which is going to begin, our next round begins in August, you can be completed, not diploma in hand yet, but you can be completed all of the requirements and by December. And that's as quickly as you can get done. For their professional qualification, you go one step up from there, and that can be completed in as little as 9 months. So if you start in August, by April next year, you're all done with the program requirements. Once you pass all of the courses, you're completed your program requirements. And if you start with us this August, you can be completed by the following October 2027. I can't believe we're in 2027. We're approaching midpoint 2026. So by 2027, October, you should have completed all of your program requirements. And it is as quick as that. How do we build out those products? Our products are stackable. So, depending on where you are and depending on what your future plans are, you can accelerate and leap into your future. If you don't want to make the full commitment to the MSc, start with the postgraduate certificate in the area. Those four first courses are core to all of our programming. So when we say stackable pathways, you can begin and come in and get entry, enroll in our postgraduate certificate. Those four courses, which allows you to complete the requirements for the certificate, are the core of the postgraduate diploma. So if you think of a highway with 3 lanes, well, the first lane, the leftmost lane is your postgraduate certificate, the middle lane is a diploma, and the master's is the rightmost lane. You're on a 3 lane highway. You all start at the same point. And then there are 3 exits. For those enrolled in the postgrad certificate, after you get to the fourth interchange, that would be your fourth course, you exit with your postgraduate certificate. For those who are enrolled in the diploma, you go forward 3 more courses and you exit with your postgraduate diploma. And for those fully enrolled in the master's, you only have 4 more courses to go. So you complete your 4 courses. That includes your 6 credit final project, and that's where your exit is. We have deliberately designed our model to be as flexible as possible. So you have multiple entry points. As I said, you can start with your program, the postgraduate certificate. If life intervenes and you need to take a break at that point, you can come back in and those credits will count as long as you're coming back in within 5 years. Those credits will count towards your diploma. And similarly, all of those credits form part of the master's program in your area. What if you enrolled in the master's program and life happened, something that was unanticipated? It doesn't have to be something that was egregious or something that was bad. Maybe you got promoted, maybe you got transferred, and so on, and it is difficult to balance the programming that you are committed to with your new life circumstances. We have taken that into consideration as well. So if you are enrolled in a higher level degree, so for example, you were enrolled in the Master of Science program in the area of interest, and life intervened, let's say in January, but you came in August, life intervened in January, February 2027, and you can't continue with the program. We recognize the credits that you have already attained. We match what you have already done against any of the awards that we have available, and you would have completed the requirements for the postgraduate certificate. So you don't have an investment that is lost. We recognize you up to the level of the program requirements for that lower level. So if life intervened and you had to leave the program, you get awarded with the postgraduate certificate once you've completed those first four courses and you are on your way. When life settles, you come back in and you can continue on. You reapply, we count those credits towards the program that you're going to ask to be re-entered into, if that's your master's program, and you can continue on your way. So the takeaway here, we are flexible. We are recognizing you where you are. We are recognizing you as working adults with substantive responsibilities, both personally and professionally, in your private life as well as your public life. And we have built the programming so that it can be integrated into your life. Flexible entry points, flexible exit points as well. The so just to reiterate, the program certificate, four core courses, four 3-credit core courses, so that gives you your 12 credits. The postgraduate diploma, those four courses act as the core of the diploma. And then you add the 3 courses, one more core to take you to 5 core courses and 2 electives. And that's the requirements for the postgrad diploma. And then for the Master of Science, the courses that you would have taken thus far, and thus far you would have taken 7 courses or 21 credits, that forms the core of the Master of Science program. And now you're adding the one more core. That's research. That's going to be research methods, no surprise. 2 more electives, which can be taken from any of the courses that are available for registration at that point. And once all of those are completed, you then enter your final project course. Final project in sustainability, which is a 6-credit course, allowing you to demonstrate and meaningfully apply all of the new knowledge, all of the content, all of the new competencies and skills that you've built to an area of interest. And the program coordinator at that point will be working with you to determine what your project is going to be. We are in 8-block cycles. And what that means is that every course is offered in an 8-block from beginning to end. So once the course opens, you have 8 weeks to complete. There are going to be assessments along the way, and some of the assessments are going to be open for a specific period, and you will have to pay attention to that, but you'll be interacting with the course lead as well as our virtual student experience officer and those who are building the infrastructure behind or making sure that you keep on track, engaging with you as you go through the material so that even though you are following this asynchronously, you are never alone in that course. So again, for the postgrad certificate, you're coming into the new cohort. You can be finished before the December period, before Christmas. We celebrate Christmas here in the Caribbean. Before Christmas, before the end of year 2026, you can have your newly minted, you can finish the program requirements for the postgrad certificate and be assured that you can get, while not the diploma in hand in December, once we have vetted you that you have completed, you can get your documentation to say that you have completed the program. And as quickly as the end of December this year. So any of the promises that you've made to yourself about retooling and upgrading your qualifications at the beginning of this year, not too late. We are only in May of 2026. By December of 2026, you could keep that promise to yourself. So stackable pathways, start with a postgraduate certificate, progress on to the postgraduate diploma, and then complete with the MSc. So you can start by enrolling in the postgrad certificate and decide if you want to go on to the higher levels of the awards that we do offer here at the school. Pam, any questions so far?
Sonia, we have a question from Wayne. He has asked if there are how many students have already graduated from the ISDJ? And if you heard me clearly, yes. I wanted so we would share. That's the question that he has asked. How many students have graduated from the ISDJ? We can share with him about our master classes and our new cohort. Want to
Absolutely.
take it?
So
Okay.
We have just launched our inaugural cohort, which is starting next week. Registration for that cohort starts next week. We have there, remember I said that the ISDJ itself is new, and this would be our second application cycle, which is open now and closes July 10th. We have had students come through on our professional development side, and 31 students so far, our participants so far, completed our workshop in sustainability, exploring the SDGs, and some of them did our essentials course, which is the pre-program workshop, which coincides with the pre-program workshop our students will do. And some of them did the professional version of that short course, that professional development course, and were awarded the digital certificates, which can be the printed and you can post on your wall or can be shared across various platforms. So once you complete the professional certificates, and come through the master class. Those were our master classes. They were able to utilize those certificates as well. So Wayne, great question. Like I said, we are brand new, even though we're leveraging the platforms and the proven excellence of the UWI. So the school itself is brand new. What we're built on is not.
Sonia, that was his question. Wayne can let us know if that answered yes. He said, thank you very much.
You are
Wonderful. You can continue.
Okay, so this is what we have available for you. The top row, sustainability, sustainable development and justice, public health and informatics, sustainability and data analytics, climate and sustainable development, and sustainable leadership and development are all available for you to apply. And for each of these options, I'm going to go through just briefly what you're going to be exposed to. It's not an exhaustive list, but just to give you an idea of what that programming looks like. And coming soon will be what you're seeing, the 5 programs that you're seeing on the bottom, on the second row, from gender justice, activism, and sustainable development, global sport discrimination and reparative justice, sustainable educational leadership and management, sustainable entrepreneurship and innovation, and sustainable management. Those applications will be opening soon for our next cycle, which will be in August. So just to take a closer look at the first suite of 5, public health and informatics. This is where you're going to transform health systems through data. Now, we all lived through, can you believe it? The pandemic reared its head in 2020. That was 6 years ago. And one of the lessons learned was the need to ensure that the health systems around the world, whether in particular locales, but being fed into a global network as well, that our health systems were able to feed data, live data, so that the decision makers can make decisions almost daily for how they were going to respond to the pandemic. And that showed up where the opportunities were. I'm not going to use the word challenges here, where the opportunities were to build resilience into our systems and to ensure that we were able to get the data and not only get the data, but be able to, through modeling, build projections as well as make decisions on not gut feel, but evidence from the field. And therefore, for this particular program, and I must tell you that the 2 programs I'm about to speak about are our most popular thus far. You're going to be exposed to health informatics systems and digital transformation. One of the challenge, I've used the word challenge here, was that if you have a system where most of your data is stored in paper-based files in a file cabinet locked in an office somewhere, in a situation where there was the pandemic and you can't get access to those paper files, that meant that you were cut off from that data. So we noted through the research, many of the governments around the world recognize the need to ramp up and to really push the digital transformation of their health systems, and health informatics as well has taken by leaps and bounds, has really progressed over the last 5 years. Data analytics for public health policy modeling and disease surveillance. That's going to be core to your program as well. And health equity and social determinants of health, where you are, and you're going to hear this as as a repeated theme, a theme that will echo through our programming, serving, identifying the marginalized and underserved communities, and building solutions to ensure that there is equity in the way that we distribute, we identify the needs and distribute the resources to ensure that everyone can be on at minimum, a level playing field. Some of the career paths that we are seeing for this program, international agencies like the World Health Organization, for us in the region, the Pan American Health Organization, and other global health agencies. Ministries of health have actually begun to stand up, and I don't want to say begin because it means that they have not conceptualized it before, but have reinforced their staffing and their capacity by encouraging the staff to go through programming like this. So we're seeing opportunities in ministries of health, digital health startups, identifying where there are niches and opportunities for the private sector to get involved and offer a service that may not be adequately uh, provided by the public health service. So we're seeing that as well. And of course, the international NGOs. And all of our programming, again, a reminder, you can start at the postgraduate certificate here and then determine whether you need to ladder up to the diploma or the master's program as well. Our most popular offering so far is the that has really gained traction is sustainability and data analytics. And this is where you master the data science, but with the lens of sustainability. After all, that's who we are. And here you're going to be exposed to Python programming and machine learning for the SDGs. That is the core language of the models that you're going to be building. Very important for all organizations, whether they're in the CSO, NGO, public sector or private sector space, the need for ESG reporting. And that's the framework for evaluating responsible business practices. Persons with disposable income are not only interested in the quality of the products and services, are no longer only interested in the quality of the products and services they're going to be purchasing, but they want to know about the character of the organization that they are interacting with. So everything from determining whether you want to be an employee of that organization or to purchase their products or services, the ESG reporting becomes really important because it gives you a window into what the practices of the organization, what those practices of the organization are in the environmental, social, and governance spaces. And while sustainability is the broader objective, ESG provides the tools to interrogate the data, to determine the measurements and the structure to achieve those sustainability goals that many of those institutions laud in their annual reports. So, no surprise, therefore, core to the program is understanding how to interrogate that data, how to collect that data, define the data that is necessary, build the measurements, and finally the modeling and reporting, and determine the impact of those strategies that the organization, no matter what space they're in, have deployed. Telling the story about that data. So obviously data visualization and dashboard building. Gone are the days where you're going to be reading a heavily text-based or narrative report. You want to be able at a glance, your decision makers want to be able at a glance to see at the macro level, what is the data telling me? So that's where data visualization and dashboard building, AI assisted, yes, but not AI complete. So that even though you're going to be exposed to some of the AI tools in building this out, there is a human being at the center of this as well. And that's the value add that you bring. And econometric analysis for sustainability. That's some of the core that you're going to be meeting in sustainability and data analytics. And again, some of the paths reflect to what you're going to be exposed to. ESG analysts and sustainability data managers. Again, working at the global level in UN agencies or the development banks, whether those be regional banks like the CDB here, the Caribbean, the IADB, or other with the World Bank, other so the development banks around the world. Climate tech and carbon platforms as well as organizations again see the opportunity to offer services to their environment to determine whether they are in companies can purchase these services to determine if they're in compliance with the strategies for decarbonization This is important for investors to determine whether they want to put their money behind the organization, and the corporate sustainability officers, which drive that compliance. So we are seeing those develop across the world as well. And our climate studies focus, which is climate and sustainable development, where you're going to be leading climate action and resilience. Again, some of the core that you're going to be meeting: climate change science and policy frameworks, adaptation and resilience strategies for the small island developing states. We are at the forefront of the challenges and therefore the opportunities that present themselves to solve for those challenges of climate change. For the small island development states, whether they're in the Atlantic or the Pacific, we live. This is our lived experience. It's not something that we are just seeing anecdotally in a research paper. We live this. We are in May now here in the Caribbean, and our hurricane season is about to open officially, but we know the outliers. So June is, we usually say June too soon, but we have seen early hurricanes. We have seen November, October is usually where we close our hurricane season in the years past, but we see hurricanes come through as late as November or even early December. So we are very aware of the impacts and the impacts and the dangers of climate change and how it affects us here in the region. And that's why we're talking about resilient strategies for small island developing states. What works for the SIDS will work for companies or countries that have more urban areas as well. Green finance and carbon markets are particularly, we have particular interest in this, so that if a disaster happens, how do countries rebound? And the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, is a known voice. If you've not heard the name before, if you Google her name, you will see where she sits in this particular area. She is well known globally. She's well known at the UN for carrying the banner to rethink how we support small island developing states and vulnerable communities in the area of green financing and deploying resilience funds when disaster does strike. So that is core and very dear to our heart, and no surprise it will be in as one of the key topics in our climate studies and sustainable development programming. And climate justice and vulnerable communities, championing the cry for larger nations to be more mindful of their policies and how they impact, as we said, the vulnerable communities. And even for your local governments and in your local instances, how can you be the change maker to bring awareness to to some of the opportunities to do better for at-risk communities with regards to climate change and the policies that even the government should set for safety standards for their companies and so on. Career paths: the UNFCCC, which is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which is the primary international treaty for coordinating global action. And that is really important, so that if we don't want to have a situation where each nation, recognized nation, is doing something and not being able to leverage the collective efforts. So the UNFCCC is key in that arena. And the requisite climate action agencies in each country that feed and become part of the global effort and movement. We're seeing government climate offices and energy officers as well. Climate tech companies, again, seeing opportunities for offering services and products in this space, and international development NGOs as well as possible career paths for those completing studies in climate studies and sustainable development. And just two more are sustainability development and justice, where you're championing equitable development. And we are looking then at equitable development and social justice frameworks. And notice there is a common thread across some of the programming: rights-based approaches to policy, inclusive governance and community empowerment, and gender justice and intersectional sustainability. So this is where a lot of our other program intersect at the crossroads. And career paths, again, global agencies such as UNDP and UN Women, within your government organizations or within your governments, we see social development ministries taking advantage of this sort of programming, human rights organizations, and from the grassroots up, community development NGOs. So if you've had a passion for gender justice or a passion for social justice, and you have a passion project, that can develop into a full-fledged NGO or CSO in your space. And this sort of programming gives you the academic tools and qualifications and the credibility to speak in spaces where you may not have otherwise been able to speak. And finally, sustainability leadership, where you are going to be at the forefront of leading transformational change. Now, often when we think of leadership, we think of at the top of organizations, but you can lead from where you are. So while it's important for leaders to set the tone and to infect, and I'm using that word on purpose, infect the organization with sustainability, not as an add-on, but as a foundation for the strategies that the organization will undertake. It is important to recognize that leadership happens in the spaces that you're in. You have a sphere of influence. You are in an organization and be looking to come to progress your career either within that organization or within the environment, and therefore understanding the importance of sustainability to have a change of mindset that it will then infect. Beyond infusing, we want it to infect all of the development that is happening, all of the operational techniques that are going to be deployed, the tactical level of the organization, and the strategic vision, the strategies and vision of the organization. We want sustainability to just be part of the ingredients that are going to make up the products, services, and what the value that that organization is going to give to the world. So it starts from the top and it starts from the bottom and it starts from wherever you are leading. Sustainable leadership for sustainability transformation is going to be core. Systems thinking and recognizing that change does not have to happen without deliberate techniques to ensure that that change is managed in the organization. It just doesn't happen fly by night. It has to be a systemic, deliberate set of actions to ensure that that change is realized throughout the organization. Stakeholder engagement and collaborative leadership. No organization, no institution, no matter how big it is or how small it may be, where none of us are in it alone. So how do you identify and engage meaningfully the stakeholders that are relevant and that count and that will allow you to make the difference? And how do you develop win-win strategies? So that whole concept of collaborative leadership is going to be important. And leading across the sectors, no individual sector. If you think of the human body, all the systems are equally important. If your nervous system is not functioning, if your circulatory system is not functioning, if your gastrointestinal system is not functioning, doesn't matter how much it doesn't seem to be important, it's not important until you realize that it's not functioning and realize that all of the systems must be working in order for the human body to function. Similarly, there's no sector that is unimportant in a country. There's no function that is unimportant within the organization, otherwise it wouldn't exist. So leading across sectors for ICG achievement will mean that you do develop partnerships, you do develop treaties with like-minded, and you bring those who are not yet where you are on board with you. And career paths, sustainability directors and leaders, change management consultants with a specialization in sustainability. Again, seeing this in the NGO space and social enterprises, where if you're leading those organizations, again, sustainability leadership is a great program for you. And government sustainability officers, those are just a part of and parcel of who would be benefit from taking the programming in sustainability leadership as well. So Pam, I'm about to move on to admissions requirements. How do you get into our programming? Any questions? I'm noticing some movement in the
Oh,
chat.
yes, I've been answering the questions in the chat. I also
Excellent.
placed a link in the I placed a link in the chat, which is our student handbook for those persons who were asking about the courses in each program that we've shared so far. So you'll
Excellent.
see the five that we've shared, you'll see those programs there. If you check back in about a couple of weeks, we're going to have the other five programs listed and a special program that you'll see as well listed there. So check the link in the chat, and that's to our student resources page on our website. And that will give you some good information as well. All the information that we're sharing here today is located there.
Okay. So how do you get in to our programming? There's a traditional pathway and there's a pathway because we value our experience. So there are multiple ways in. If you have an honors degree in the relevant area, then you are more than suited to our programming. Honors degree or minimum GPA of 2.5 gets you consideration and approval to a large extent to our programming. Public health, please pay attention for those of you who are interested. And actually, you can put in the chat which of the programming that we looked at so far has caught your eye or caught your interest. The public health and informatics has specific areas of training that you must have before you can get into those programs. No surprise, the health sciences, the natural sciences, if you're a graduate of one of the management sciences programs, at the undergraduate level, you're well suited to public health and informatics. But as Pam says, as she's been responding to you, the handbook does give you the details of the admission requirements for each of the programs. If you have an undergraduate degree, but it wasn't at the honors level, we're going to be looking for at least 2 years work experience, preferably post program work experience, but we will take a look at your CV, and that puts you well on the path to be considered as well. For some of you who went into the world of work first and did not do your undergrad, the traditional undergraduate degree, your area may have had, may have necessitated you taking technical and professional qualifications. We take a look at that whole suite as well and determine if you have the adequate background to come directly into the programming. And again, we want to see some work experience, relevant work experience there as well. Now, the last entry point here is the one I want to spend a moment on. If you chose an alternate pathway to develop your career, you left secondary school with those qualifications or certifications, or not, but you went into the world of work first, and you have been climbing the ladder in your proven field over the last 5 years or so. You have a wealth of experience that we value. If you don't have certification of a completed academic training that you can show, but you have been working and you have been moving up and you get to the stage. Now, some of you might be senior managers in whatever field or organization that you are located in. And now is the time, you think now is the time to get your certification to show not only to get in touch with the cutting edge knowledge in the area, but to also get your qualifications within that year and a half to show, yes, this is the level academically where I am. We want to give you the opportunity to come in. You will come through what we call the qualifying admission route. And what that means, we will need to see, in fact, we want to see everybody's CV. If you don't have an honors degree, we want to see everybody's CV. So just have that ready to submit to us. And you may be invited for you to make the application. You may be invited for an interview, but we will determine whether you need to come in for an interview or not. You come through what we call the qualifying course path. There is a postgraduate course that we would want you to complete to show that you can manage the rigor of postgraduate study. So while it is everything that we said, postgraduate study is a rigorous undertaking. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you would not expect anything otherwise from a quality institution such as ours. And we want to ensure that you are ready for the tasks that you're about to undertake. So you complete, if you're invited, you get a qualifying offer, you complete that course, and that course is Foundations in Sustainability, will stand you in good stead and provides the material that you're going to be using throughout the program that you choose. That gets you into consideration for our postgraduate certificate. Once you complete that qualifying course, you are given an offer. You can be given an offer to the postgrad certificate in the area that you are um, asking to be considered for. And then once you complete the postgrad certificate, you can ladder up. Remember, our programs are stackable. You won't be using time. You will not be losing credits. We are going to ensure that we want to ensure that you're able to manage the program load. And then you ladder up to either the diploma or directly to the master's based on your performance in the postgraduate certificate. So again, I want to emphasize that while the traditional pathway would be your undergraduate degree, your honors degree, or qualifications, a past degree, and work experience, for those who don't have that traditional academic background, we are still we are here because we value that prior learning. We value what you will bring to the program, and I suspect many of you will be assets to the program. We don't want to lose you to the fact that you don't have an undergraduate degree. So submit the application, but there is a tool that we are going to be talking about in just a moment, exclusive to those of you who came to the program session, who are coming to the webinar sessions. All of our content is delivered in English, and you must demonstrate, if English is not your first language, you demonstrate English proficiency through the IELTS 6-point test, 6.5 or up, or its equivalent academic reference, professional academic references, and really important, your current CV or resume within the last 6 months. We want to see a whole picture of who you are. These are the programs that are open now, but remember, all 10 will be available shortly. And this is the next steps. If you go onto our website, and I'm sure Pam, if she hasn't already, will put our website in the chat for you. And that's going to come up a little later as well on the QR code. Apply via the ISDJ website. There is a 15 US non-US US dollar application fee. Now we use our partners to determine your identity. You're going to build a digital wallet with our partners at Qualification Check. If you happen to be a graduate of the UWY, then you will verify. The only thing we need you to do is verify your identity. And Pam, I think that's a 10 US dollar charge to
Yes,
verify
it
your
is.
identity. Yes.
Yes,
And
and also give the positives of that is
right.
that, yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh, so the positive of so with these two tools that we are going to share with you, which is a qualification check, it verifies your identification and it puts it in an e-wallet. So anytime you ever have to verify your identity online, you can use your e-wallet. It's a one-time payment. And your qualifications, once those are evaluated and they are determined legit, and all is well, that goes in your wallet as well. So anytime you have to apply online, you can always just pass that link over and that will be you have nothing else to do. So it's a lifetime thing. So it says there are two charges, a $10 charge for the ID verification, and then there is a $65 charge for your verification of your qualifications. That is only if you did not attend University of the West Indies. If you did, then we will check that in the background for you. That's no charge. But if you did not attend UWA, then you have to go through that particular process so that we would do those checks for you, get you everything organized, $65 US charge, one-time payment for a lifetime of use.
Right. And it appears in your digital wallet. We don't have control
Access
of your
to it.
digital wallet.
Mhm.
You have that for life. For those coming through the non-academic pathway, if there is an interview required, we will set up an interview with you, with the graduate entrance committee and the ISDJ. And once we receive all of your documents, this is that you've applied, you have made the application fee payment, you've gone through the QC process, you should receive decision after we are in receipt of all of your supporting documents within 3 to 4 weeks. So the program fees, in the interest of time, I'm going to pull this together. So your total fees, depending on your entry route. If you're entering at the postgrad certificate level, your entry fees is 3,500 US dollars. And you have you come in August and you complete your certification by December. For those coming in directly into the postgrad diploma, the fee for the entire program is 7,500 US dollars. And the unbelievable fee we have it is important that we get this training. I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I'm really excited about this. We have kept the program fee as manageable as possible for the master's program. I remember some of our backers wondering, is that the fee that we are going with? And is that yes, we want to give access to as many persons as possible. So for the entire master's program, that is 10,000 US dollars, extremely competitive in the area. And the registration fee, so that's the program fee or the tuition fee. And the registration fees will depend on the mode in which you go through. If you are full-time, it means you're going to be doing two courses simultaneously. The courses are in 8-week blocks. So if you come in August and you want to complete your program full-time, you're enrolled in the postgraduate certificate. You do two courses starting August 24th. There is a pre-program workshop before, but your academic courses opens August 24th and close in the last week in October. And your second two courses opens in, I think, like November 1st, and they close by December 18th. So by December 18th, before the end of the year, you would have completed the requirements for your postgraduate certificate. So the program fees then would be the 3,500 US plus $120, which is the $85 one-time fee. And you're seeing the plus fees that depend on how many semesters you're taking. You're only taking one semester. So for if you're full-time postgrad certificate, that's $45 as well, which is things like the guild fees. You are represented by the Guild of Students. You are a member of the UWI Global Campus, and therefore you have the access to the Guild of Students and the technology fee. All of our programming is online. So you are seeing the fees on the tuition fees on the left side and the registration fees on the right. So these are your total fees in US dollars. Important deadlines at the moment, July 10th, and the link is also available on our website, and our sessions begin August 6th, and that's with the pre-program workshop with the academic courses opening August 24th. And here is a webinar bonus. Are you determining whether or not you are ready to take this leap into your career? We have created, and Pam will now put it in the chat if she hasn't already, it's free to you. It's an AI-assisted pre-screening tool that helps you determine your readiness to start. There's no commitment, so you're not signing up for anything. If you're using the tool, it is not saying that you have applied to us. It is for you to determine and for us to see, are you ready? To engage with us. What is your fit? Are you ready to come into us? So that tool, again, there's no commitment, there's no cost to you. It is an absolutely free tool. It's a benefit because you came and spent time with us this morning, and you can engage with us further for any further information that you may have. So Pam, I think either you or Dwayne have put that in the chat. And
Yes, it's in the chat.
right, and this is where we are. If you have any further questions, if you are making decisions, if you want to know about any of the information you're seeing in our handbook, reach out to us at admissions.isdj@ue.edu. The QR code gets you access to our website. Let's discuss your pathway. Let's discuss your interests. Reach out to us. We are rearing and ready to go to welcome you into the ISDJ family. So Pam, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you so very much, Sonia, for sharing the information with us today. You have, as always, been very um, clear, and the questions that were shared were mostly about the course content. I would have put the links in the chat for the courses for our first 5 programs. And also, I placed the pre-screening tool link in the chat. Sonia was very correct. It's no commitment to us. We are just saying, let's see if we're a good fit for each other. We're going to look at your qualifications, and we'll share back with you information as to, yes, please go ahead and apply. This is your route that you're coming to. Or if you are experienced, You'll say, take this course, and you'll be ready to join. Once you're successfully completed, you'll be ready to join us. So thank you so very much for joining us today. As always, if there are any questions, please reach out to the ISDJ at UWI or admissions.isdj at UWI. These links are in the chat. These websites are in the chat. I'm going to put the ISDJ one in the chat now for you. Reach out to us. One person asked if the pre-screening tool will be available beyond today. Yes, it will be
Yes.
available to you beyond today, but please reach out through that tool and we'll contact you. We'll have a conversation. We'll set up a time where we can talk individually with you if need be and get you started for our August intake. We look forward to welcoming you then. So thank you for the time today. Have a most enjoyable weekend and
Yes.
we hope to hear from you very soon. We're open, our doors are open. And thank you once again. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Sonia. And have a wonderful day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.